Well, welcome everybody back to the Flying Dog House. We're at KGSO again. We're sitting in the 414 again. Thought it might be fun to maybe get a little bit more complex or complicated and take a look at Sayintentions from a different perspective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a IFR flight plan, and we're going to plan out a flight from Greensboro to Newbern, which is over on the Atlantic coast here in North Carolina. So we're going to do that using Simbrief and Sayintentions. And then we'll jump back over into the sim, get the airplane fired up, and then we'll go through all of the comms, and at least take off and head toward the destination. The flight from Greensboro to Newbern in the 414 is about an hour. So I'm not going to fly a cross-country trip and record all of that, but at any rate, this should definitely give you a good feel for what's required should you want to take the next step and then file an instrument flight plan. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get going. Okay, so go ahead and cut the music off here. All right, I'm going to switch over for a minute in terms of just, I guess, brain-wise prep, kind of working through making our way across the Newbern from KGSO. So I'm going to switch over to Little Nav Map to begin with. All right, so there are a couple of nav aids that we could use for this trip. One is the Liberty VOR, right? So it's three-letter identifier, easy for me to say, is lib. So we're going to put that in. So we'll depart KGSO. We'll make our way to the Liberty VOR, and we'll make our way west, right? One of the things we need to make sure that we do is we need to stay clear of this military operations area, right? So we need to think about what kind of cruising altitude we want to use, and if we're going to be between 7,000 and 10,000 feet, or excuse me, above 7,000 feet, less than 18,000 feet, we need not tarry into this military operations area here around Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. So that's one flight restriction area that we need to be mindful of. So to that end, Sayintentions now is kind of keeping track of that kind of stuff, particularly with the TFRs. I'll have a play with the MOAs, but we're going to be good flight planners here and keep our license, and we're going to stay out of that MOA. And then there's another VOR we could use. It's ISO or ISO, and then make our way into Newbern. So take a look at your chart, kind of map out the things, and you should be kind of good to go. Okay, so next we'll switch over into Sayintentions, and we'll look at Simbrief and get this plan put together. All right, so KGSO to lib to ISO to KEWN is our ICAO codes for our nav points and our destination and departure. So let's go ahead and get that put in, and we'll keep moving. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our switch from Little Nav Map over into Simbrief. Okay, there we go. All right, so we looked at this quickly, I think, in our initial video. But you can use Simbrief for free, or Navigraph, by Navigraph. So we need to put in our departure and our arrival. So we are departing KGSO. We are going to go to Newbern, which is KEWN. We are going to be filing
Clearance delivery, Columbia 151 Lima Charlie, ready to copy IFR.
I'll have your clearance in just a second.
We are going to be flying
Cleared
via
Winston
IFR,
Salem,
excuse me.
radar vector south, then is filed, climb and maintain 4,000, departure frequency 124.45, squawk 2331 for 51 Lima Charlie.
And
Columbia 1 Lima Charlie, read back correct.
I obviously have Sayintentions loaded, so getting some audio from that, but that's fine. That's going to let you know what this experience is going to be like when you're sitting at your workstation doing this. It's okay. So IFR flight plan from KGSO to KEWN. So our route should look something like that. Oh, it's griping at me because I haven't picked an airframe. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Scroll down here and get our 414 put in. Here. Okay. That looks good. And we're going to continue to use November 123 Alpha Zulu for our call sign. So it's recommending this route. That's not what we want. We want lib. And ISO. Okay, so it's telling us this route is valid. So what I've put in here are our navigational aids here. If we were using a standard departure out of the Greensboro airspace and the standard arrival into KEWN, we could have selected those as well. We're just going to do that. So, and we'll make sure that we adjust our heading when we get around the Raleigh area to make sure that we go to the north of the military operations area around Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, as we looked at on the map previously. So that's that. So the other thing is I was having a play with this the other day. is that air traffic control is going to consistently drive you to an altitude. Right now we've got 20,000 feet as our altitude. We don't want that. I want to do about a 12,000 foot cruise. And we're not going to go through all the nuances here. This is definitely not a video in terms of how to use Simbrief and go through all of the nuanced things that we might be picking. But we'll use Jacksonville, I guess, as our alternate. We'll leave that in. That's fine. All right, I think we're pretty good with this. So I'm gonna save this flight. With a name that'll make sense to me. And then we're going to generate the flight, and then that will make the flight available to Sayintentions, right? So when we call up the tower, they'll be able to access our IFR flight plan when we tell them that we're going to ask to pick that up. So, all right, so this looks good. Let's go ahead and click on Generate Flight. All right. Okay. So we got that.
Clearance delivery, Columbia 151 Lima Charlie, ready to copy IFR.
I'm working on that clearance. Stand by.
Negative, Center. Our destination is regional, Johnson Regional. The call letter sign for that is KJNX for 51 Lima Charlie. Cleared Johnson Regional, KJNX, radar vectors KHRJ, then as filed, climb maintain 7000, departure 11935, squawk 6272 for 51 Lima Charlie.
So one of the things that I have done with my Sayintention settings is I do have it replaying local area recording of traffic transmissions, right? So just to add to the immersion. So that's what we were just hearing here. I think the other important thing that I would point out is that you do have the ability to generate a PDF out of this pilot briefing. And again, this is not a learning session around that. But if you click on View PDF, it's going to generate a nice long report for you, generated in Courier font that you'll be able to read. So, at any rate, we may look at that in an upcoming video, depending on how many of these we end up doing around Sayintentions. Okay, so I think we're good. We're done with Sayintentions for now. So let's jump over into the aircraft. All right. Okay, one of the things I guess that I will point out here is that this definitely increases the amount of time, right, from ramp to takeoff. And it's really up to you to decide whether or not you want this level of immersion, right? So what I am doing for myself as far as the general aviation kind of stuff that I'm currently doing in the sim is I'm picking routes that I want to fly on a repeated basis, and I'm going through this workload to get those flights configured and saving them. So then I can jump in the aircraft, jump over into Simbrief, make a modification to a flight I've already created, and shorten the amount of time that it takes to go ahead and get airborne. So your mileage might vary, right? And I'm sure that folks who are using this for the larger jets are probably doing the same thing. But I think that's a good suggestion, right? Shorten the time, do some pre-planning. But this is also giving you an idea of what the workload's like, and given that Sayintentions has now also added temporary flight restrictions, that's something else that we'll need to be addressing as we go forward and plan and do all those fun things. All right, so sitting on the ramp here in Greensboro. So let's get going here. Okay. Here we are. If nothing else, I guess these videos will show you the basic startup sequence for the 414. All right. Crack the throttle here. Get all those throttle controls handled. Pun intended. Okay, get our fuel selectors fired up here. All right. And cut some lights on. Okay, navigation lights on. That'll let people know we're mucking around in the airplane. Okay. Got the battery on. Magnetos to on the left engine. Throttle cracked. Clear prop. Alright, got a good engine start there. Yep. RPM coming up. Alright, same thing for the right. Clear prop. Alright, that's good. Got the generators on. Our avionics on. Let that get synced up. Okay. Alright. Put our RPM up here and let's go ahead and do our magneto test. Alright, we'll do the left engine first. It doesn't seem to be creating a measurable drop in RPM. Maybe a bug. Yeah, it is dropping. It's just very slight. Too far away from the gauge. Yep, you can see the needles move. Alright, my bad. It is working. And the magnetos are responding the way that I would have expected them to. So that's good. Okay, so I think we've got the aircraft kind of set up and configured. So we should be good to go pick up our clearance. We can go ahead and talk to Greensboro Clearnce here. So we'll go ahead and start that process. Okay, and I've got our clearance frequency of 121.75. That's dialed in. And we can go ahead and get started here. Greensboro Clearnce, good morning, November 123 Alpha Zulu. Wanting to pick up our IFR clearance from KGSO to Newbern.
I'll have your clearance in just a second.
And it'll take it a minute or two to process.
Cessna 123 Alpha Zulu, Greensboro clearance cleared to New Bern. Radar vectors Liberia, then is filed. Climb and maintain 4,000. Expect flight level 190, 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 124.35, squawk 3243. And we had to change your departure runway to 32. 1 second while I grab the paperwork.
Cleared to Winston-Salem, radar vectors Luxu, and then is filed. Climb and maintain 4,000. Departure frequency 124.35. Squawk 2432 and expect runway 23 right for 51 Lima Charlie.
Columbia 1 Lima Charlie, read back correct.
Piedmont clearance, American 715 request IFR clearance to Reagan.
Cleared to Newbern, radar vectors to Lib, then is filed. Climb and maintain 4,000. Expect flight level 190, 10 minutes after departure. Contacting departure on 124.35. We will be squawking 3243. Expecting runway 32. November 123 Alpha Zulu.
Cessna 3 Alpha Zulu, read back correct. Ground is on 121.9er, safe flight, sir.
Ground on 121.9. Have a good day. Okay, so one of the keys to this is really jotting down notes as the ATC is giving you instruction, and then reading it back as correct. So you'll get validation on that. That's just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. So let's see here. Yep, I've created some custom camera views for the 414 to help me get to some of the stuff easier. So we were asked to squawk 3243. This is going to be located in a different location in the cockpit depending on what your instrumentation is. And the 414, it's over here. All right, so that's good. So got that out of the way. And ground.
Greensboro clearance, TLX 56.
Ground is 121.9, so we just switched frequency. So there we go. Go ahead and get the rest of our lights cut on here. Taxi light switch on. Right on the runway, we don't need strobe. Okay, so here we go. Greensboro ground, November 123, Alpha Zulu, good morning. We're ready to taxi.
Cessna 123 Alpha Zulu, Greensboro ground, runway 32, taxi via Alpha. Contact tower on 119.1 when ready for departure.
Runway 32, taxi via Alpha, contacting tower on 119.1. When we're ready for departure, 123 Alpha Zulu. Okay, so we are now ready to rock and roll here. Let's see if our controls are gonna play nicely with us this morning. Restart SPAD next. That didn't look good. Okay, switch outside the aircraft here. Okay, so one of the things that you were seeing in the cockpit is that we did have we had a controller conflict with the rudder pedals, and we would have had a problem with the taxi. So I'm recording this video in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, so I went into configuration settings and took care of that little issue. So we should have a smooth taxi. And we'll take the parking brake off here and start running. Make our way down to run the whole short line for runway 32. So this is the Flightsim Cessna 414, and I have mentioned on several videos this is one of my favorite aircraft in the sim. It's very, very good. I really enjoy flying the bird. Out the taxiway light. Fiddling with cameras.
Cessna 3 Alpha Zulu, contact tower on 119.1. Have a good morning.
Tower on 119. 3 Alpha Zulu. Okay, so we're coming up on the whole short line. Ourselves loaded up here. Alright, there we go. I'll switch over to the tower frequency for KGSO. It's 119.1.
Cessna 587, welcome to Greensboro. Contact ground on 121.9er.
Ground 121.9er, 53587. Ground 121.9er, 53587.
Columbia 1 Lima Charlie, contact departure.
So one of the things we should expect from the tower is going to be departure instructions, right? So in terms of altitude, etc., etc. Go ahead and dial them up. Piedmont Tower, November 123 Alpha Zulu, holding short, runway 32, ready for departure.
Cessna 123 Alpha Zulu, Greensboro Tower, runway 32, winds calm. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Winds calm. We will fly runway heading. Confirming clear for takeoff. 123 Alpha Zulu. Okay, so we'll take a quick peek around with the cameras just to make sure we have any traffic shenanigans. And we don't. Make our way onto the active. Good.
All aircraft be advised, information mic is now current. Altimeter 29er.
Okay, positive rate. You're coming up.
Greensboro Tower, CDM on 655, holding short, runway 32, ready for takeoff.
Piedmont 655, Greensboro Tower, runway 32, winds calm. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff. Cessna 3 Alpha Zulu, contact departure on 124.35.
Contact departure 124.35 Alpha Zulu. And get ourselves trimmed down here a little bit so that we can better manage what we're doing. Okay, so Piedmont departure November 123 Alpha Zulu is currently 2,900 feet, approximately 1 mile from the airport.
Cessna 123 Alpha Zulu, Greensboro departure, radar contact. Climb and maintain 1000, turn left, heading 145, vectors to Liberia, then own navigation.
Climb and maintain 11,000, turning left to heading 145. Expecting vectors to lib, then navigation 123 Alpha Zulu. Alright, so we'll start our climb.
Cessna 3 Alpha Zulu, climb and maintain flight level 190.
one of the things that I noticed in the
Cessna 3 Alpha Zulu, level 190, read back correct.
and a couple of the flights that I've done is that it will repeatedly drive you to flight level 190 on an IFR flight, even if you get clearance request to a different altitude. So if you change altitude and you are traversing different areas of airspace, it's going to re-prompt you to climb. So I'm going to report that as a potential issue. Anyway, minor little thing there. Okay, we need to pay attention and go ahead and get our turn completed here to 145, and we are continuing to climb. Start rolling down here. Trim jacked up again. Ourselves to a reasonable V speed here on our climb. So this particular course heading is going to take us right over the top of the GSO VOR and also for the Liberty VOR, which is Lib, or Liberia, I think, to call this one.
Columbia 1 Lima Charlie. Contact Winston-Salem Tower on 123.75.
Tower 123.75, 51 Lima Charlie.
All right, I think we're good. We've made our way out of KGSO. We successfully created our IFR flight plan, saved it in Simbrief, and then we were able to bring that across and request that particular flight plan clearance on the ground at KGSO. Got our taxi and takeoff clearances. We're on our way to Newbern. I'm going to leave it here. Hopefully this gives you some additional insight again around Sayintentions. And it also should be useful just in terms of being able to have a conversation with
655, Greensboro
ATC.
departure, radar contact. Climb and maintain 12,000, turn left heading 230, vectors to Chile, then own navigation.
Alright, if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe. We'd love to have you as a channel subscriber. Liking and subscribing and making comments is ways that you can help us out.
Bravo, request permission to land runway 05 right at Greensboro.
With that, I hope everybody is keeping well.
Greensboro approach.
And until next time.
Land at Greensboro, runway 5 right. Due to an engine vibration.
Cheers, y'all.
Airbus 0.